Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope that you all had a wonderful week. I'm glad that we're ending off on a high note. We had kind of one rainy day, and then we had some thunderstorms earlier, but now it's beautiful again. That's why I'm outside. It's sunny and it's warm, but it is still a new season, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So, experienced something very interesting at the beginning of the week, and I'm going to kind of be talking a little bit about that and also relating it to some bigger picture things, such as October being National Breast Cancer Month, apparently National Liver Month, which kind of makes sense. It's National ADHD Month, but it's also National Emotional Distress Awareness Month or emotional wellness. Excuse me, emotional distress awareness. I'm sorry, not funny, but funny at the same time. Okay, National Emotional Wellness Month. I think I tried to put too many things in one. All right. Anyway, so those three things actually come together with my program that I'm putting together for the fall, and that's why I did it for the fall because it just makes sense, and your body's actually responding to the change in the season. So let's backtrack and what happened on Monday. Some of you had actually seen I was going to say live, no, my Instagram stories and my Facebook stories. I had come out of the gym on Monday, woke up at my normal time and went into the gym thinking, hey, maybe I'm a little fatigued. I'm going to be fine once I start moving. I did not feel fine. I was very tired. I really felt weak. I was lethargic. And keep in mind, I had been eating pretty well this whole weekend. And I ate what I should be eating before my workout and was very strategic about that. I just couldn't do it. I didn't cut it, but I really had to tone it down. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on with my body? There's a huge shift. Now, it could be, I thought, okay, maybe this is hormonal, because I have talked about that several times that when you transition from one phase of your cycle to another phase, then because of those fluctuation in hormones, it can affect your mood, it can affect your energy levels, it can affect your strength levels actually, and it can affect also your metabolism, with that too can second-handedly affect your mood. But I wasn't there yet. I wasn't in that part of my cycle where I really feel that like punch. Then it dawned on me Monday was the first official day of autumn. So, yes, we are in a completely new season. And with that, that can bring, I guess you would say, a little thermal stress of the new season. So I've talked about this before, that there are 7 different areas of stressors. And if there is an influx of multiple areas and there's all of a sudden this new one, temperature and thermal, is actually a stressor, then you can start to have symptoms. So that's indicating that your body needs a little bit of a reset and a little bit of tender love and care. So I'm going to go into detail. I've been talking a little bit about mitochondria because this particular program really helps to reset the mitochondria. Just, I'll say it one bite at a time. Why not? But it takes into account other emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, like all of those things. I guess it's the existential picture of everything that you can do to support your body for this new transition and really create a foundation. Okay, so with that, I didn't realize I didn't introduce myself. Sorry. My name is Drew Mulvey, as most of you know on Facebook. It's on there. I would hope that you know me if you're on Facebook. I am the vitality specialist, as well as the founder of Redeeming Life Nutrition, which is my practice. It integrates integrative health, functional nutrition, functional medicine, life coaching, and personal training so that I can help you to better understand your body at a cellular and biological level. I can help you feel more in control of your health, and I can help you to be more vital and for your cells and your body to be more vital, which helps with longevity, quality of life, energy, and just thriving altogether. From my past history that I have gone from having several autoimmune conditions and disordered eating and just other health conditions to now I have really been able to feel like I have a better control over these things, and I'm not just shooting in the dark anymore. Of course, I am a normal human being and our bodies usually change, and there's usually a new challenge that I have to face each year. But you know what? We're all in the same boat, and usually I'm able to find a way around that challenge, or I learn something new and I'm able to bring it to you. So if that sounds like that's you, that you've been fatigued, you've been feeling burnout, you don't know about your hormones, you feel like you've been really confused about all the different nutrition and dietary protocols out there, and what this influencer is saying, and what this doctor is saying, and what this is saying, even functional medicine articles, and it's really confusing the heck out of people, and you're trying to do what is best for your body, and oh, how about this? You're just freaking overwhelmed and you're busy and you need a little bit of structure. Then I am here for you, and this program would be an excellent starting foundation for you. But if you want to go deeper into that, say you've been having joint pain, you've been having brain fog, you've been having extreme lethargy and muscle pain to the point where you feel like your quality of life has really started to take a toll, I'd really love to meet with you before it goes deeper into that. I do have a free 1 hour strategy session where we can go over some very specific tips to help you on what your goals are, depending on what your symptoms are. So I take a very individualistic approach. I try to integrate things from different areas and what works best for you, and to build upon the foundation that you have right now, where you're at, so that things stick. And that's what this program does too. It is just a precursor to what I do with my clients. But if you are interested in a deeper, yes, it's just talking a little bit deeper, then please feel free to sign up for a free one-on-one strategy session with me. That's going to be in the comments below. Also, the link for the sign up for the Cell Ignite is going to be below too, but that one is too. It's basically a free consult, so why not? Okay. So we were talking about how I was feeling really crummy because of the change in the seasons. Well, traditional Chinese medicine also says that, it is a time where it's more of inward reflection, and because of the changing in the seasons, it's getting darker earlier, and it's not, well, today it's beautiful, but the weather is changing. It's getting a little cooler. You're seeing leaves that are beautiful, but the leaves are starting to kind of, well, they're dying. They're dying because the actual trees are going into hibernation. And with that, that can also really affect people's moods. And I shouldn't use the D word, but can really, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as it can really affect people's moods and kind of make them go south instead of really building a nice foundation. It's also a great time for a reset, and that can be at a cellular level, I just put it that way, at a cellular level, emotionally, mentally, so that you can get your body prepared for a new season in a way that we can do some inward reflection, release some things that are in the old season, and bring in the new with some new foundations, new habits, and new ways of creating that longevity in your life. That's why I love this program so much. Okay, so what exactly does it do? Let's just backtrack. Because we're focusing today, I want to focus particularly on it being National Breast Cancer Month and National Wellness or Emotional Wellness Month, not this distress, Emotional Wellness Month. Okay, so I have been talking about the mitochondria and why they are so important. I'll just sum it up. They are basically our organelles that are responsible for our energy pathways, and if they're not functioning properly, then you're not going to be, well, actually, you're not going to be breathing properly either, because you're not going to have the energy to be able to repair your cells in your lungs, or even for that cellular respiration that you need. Yeah, actually, I haven't said that, but yes, it does affect that. It affects your ability to be able to think. It affects your ability to be able to digest. It affects your ability to be able to fight off infections. And it also affects your ability to be able to fight off harmful compounds that can be generated in your body that can cause cellular damage and lead to unnecessary proliferation. I think you know where I'm getting at here, which, yes, it can lead to potentially cancerous cells. So we really want to pay attention to supporting the mitochondria, because that's also going to be our longevity and it's going to be our vitality. So it's not just preventing cancer, but it is also helping us to have a great quality of life. And by the way, those two things go hand in hand. Okay, so I do want to talk about what are some of the things that we're seeing in terms of, well, yeah, we could do mitochondrial dysfunction, but overall, how about inflammation? Because inflammation usually, okay, I'm backtracking. I know what I wanted to talk about. So the mitochondria, yes, they're very important, but what are some of the things that are going to affect the mitochondria, particularly hinder it from doing its proper job, damage it? That can be from overtraining and undertraining. Oh gosh, I know that one very well with the overtraining. So yes, you Ironman athletes, you triathletes, you marathoners, even you CrossFitters, and you know what, even you recreational athletes as well. Like I think we are all guilty of this. It can be from pollutants that are around us. So every single day we are exposed to pollutants. I'm going to change this, make this down a little bit. We are exposed to toxins and pollutants, not only in the air, but the water that we drink, the pesticides that are on our food, what's being sprayed around us. If you are around any sort of area where they're spraying crops, it's on our beauty products. It's on, well, I guess shampoo and conditioner counts as a beauty product, doesn't it? Okay, so still, it is all around us. And when those start to accumulate, that's when symptoms start to manifest. But also, emotional distress can very much affect the mitochondria and the functioning of the mitochondria. In fact, high cortisol levels can cause mitochondrial dysfunction, and that can lead to, that's where you hear about the adrenal fatigue. That's where you hear about the metabolic issues. That's where you hear about the insulin issues as well. But it can also, I say this a lot because this is something, probably my favorite thing that one of my teachers had said to me in my master's program, is that your thoughts can be one of the most pro-inflammatory things for your body. And so there's the emotional distress that is affecting the functioning of your mitochondria. So you have those all in place. And let's go back. I was talking about the inflammatory markers. So that can increase inflammation. That can cause cell damage as well. So some of the inflammatory markers that we usually see, in particular, we're going to go to cancer because I was talking about differences, or I shouldn't say it's differences, but things that affect the mitochondria can very much affect how cells proliferate or do not proliferate, if they're going to be healthy cells or they're going to be unhealthy cells. And then, so then there is cancer. What exactly happens in cancer is that cells, it could be normally healthy cells. So we need to be able to proliferate cells, they need to be able to divide, or else we're not going to have a skin. Our body's not going to be producing skin. It's not getting rid of old cells and then putting in new cells and new proteins. We need to constantly have a turnover. Muscle protein synthesis, that's a perfect example of this. So yes, we do need that, but what happens is that if there is alterations, particularly inflammation can alter you at a genetic level, which the genetic level, I'm not even going to say transcribes. I'm going to keep this as layman's terms as possible. Okay, so it starts as RNA and then that goes into a protein. A protein is created from RNA. And then whether the RNA is damaged or not is going to determine whether the protein is going to be a healthy protein or an unhealthy protein. And with that protein, that can also be cells as well. And if the DNA or the RNA can be damaged because of the inflammation, then that could create a system. Oh my gosh, I just got into my biology head. Sorry about that. I'm very passionate about it. What can I say? It can create that portion of when your body is reading RNA and DNA that it doesn't stop. It just keeps reading. And then that's where that unhealthy proliferation can start. And so there's some inflammatory markers that you usually start seeing on some blood tests, so conventional blood tests. There can be an elevation in CRP, homocysteine in particular, very inflammatory proteins. It could even also manifest as HbA1c because that is an inflammatory issue when it comes to insulin sensitivity. I should say insulin resistance, insulin resistance. There's also some functional medicine markers to look for as well that determine what the inflammation is. So in particular, glutathione levels, that you're not going to get that on conventional medicine, conventional medicine tests. What's the importance of glutathione? Glutathione is your body's natural antioxidant. And let's talk about the mechanical stress and the emotional stress. We talked about cortisol damaging the mitochondria. When cortisol is also up, it's very inflammatory and is wearing away your natural glutathione stores. So with that, if you don't have this natural antioxidant, then the inflammation is going to kind of build up, and that's where you can start to see that cell damage. So on those functional medicine tests, we do look at the glutathione levels. Another one is 8-hydroxy-2-guanosine. It's something that you get in an organic acids test. I mean, if you want to know a little bit more about the organic acids test, I would absolutely love to talk to you about that. You can DM me. But that one in particular is a very potent inflammatory marker that can show us are there any potential cancer cells or precancerous conditions that could lead later on. Okay, so then with that, what's some of the things that we can do to be able to mitigate some of the damage that we've caused? For me in particular, I had a very tough season and I really put my body through a lot. So yes, I'm helping to support my mitochondria, which it makes sense why I was feeling the way that I was feeling on Monday now with this new season. So taking into account the nutrition. So this program in particular, let's just, throw the program out. It's not only nutrition, but particularly certain nutrients that are going to be very beneficial for supporting the mitochondria. I talked about this before. I'll bring it back again. Incorporating foods that are more whole food, nutrient dense, particularly alkalizing. Now, it's said that cancer cannot grow in an alkaline environment. But does that mean that you have to go way overboard with that? Absolutely not, because you can do just as much damage if there's if you're too alkaline. I mean, you're not even going to be digesting things if you're too alkaline. So you want to have a nice balance of those two, but really have a big focus on those alkalizing foods and then some of those acidic whole food, I should say really high quality proteins in particular. I don't take these out because I have seen protein is, okay, here's something that I don't think I've said in at least the past month. Protein is needed by the liver to clear out compounds. So you've probably had this, or somebody who has had this, where they've gone on maybe a juice cleanse and they get really awful detox symptoms. They get migraines, they get joint pain, they get muscle pain. And what that is that those toxins, they need to go through two different phases. It's actually escaping phase one, and that can be even more pro-inflammatory. So you need protein to be able to capture those things. By the way, along with carbohydrates too, you need those so that they don't start circling in your body and they can be eliminated. But you also need proper energy. So the alkalinity that you're taking in from most of those alkalizing foods that you're eating is actually going to help to stimulate the mitochondria to function better, and therefore you're going to be clearing these compounds out a lot better. But yes, you need every macronutrient. You need fats, you need proteins, and you need carbs. Particularly the fats that are really going to be beneficial are going to be the omega-3 fatty acids. So that's going to be from either fish or like seafood, but wild caught fish. Let's say wild caught fish, but also plant-based sources. So that's going to be your walnuts, your pumpkin seeds in particular. I really emphasize those. They're very alkalizing. They're a very good source of magnesium, which is good. Talk about mood boosting. Magnesium helps to calm down your central nervous system, but it also helps with clearing compounds out, and it helps with several other things in your body and clearing other things out too. But it's also a good source of zinc, and zinc is needed for hormonal health. So you're seeing here, yes, okay, I love pumpkin seeds, and it's pumpkin season. I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in at that. Okay, so pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, and then there's walnuts as well. But of course, integrating any sort of nuts and seeds are going to be very beneficial for you for even the other fats, the monounsaturated fats. And saturated fat does have its place. It's just the quality of the saturated fat that you need to kind of pay attention to. And that's why I do emphasize the quality of proteins that you do incorporate into this. Now, here's the interesting thing. We're going away from cancer for a bit, and we're talking about the emotional wellness. So I was doing some CEUs back in February, March, I want to say. And we were talking about the impact of nutrition on mental health. And we're typically going into the doctor's office, and these inflammatory markers are elevated. Other vitamins and minerals are off, so your B vitamins could be off. And actually, by the way, B vitamins, particularly B12, folate, and B6. Sorry, I don't know why I had a brain fart for a second. So folate, B6, and B12, they're important for something called methylation. And if you're not methylating properly, then your homocysteine levels can go up, because actually it helps to decrease the inflammation from the homocysteine, and it goes to cysteine, and it's just, so you need B12, you need folate, and you need B6. So some of those markers, if they're off on conventional lab reports, I mean, that's something that you want to pay attention to. But B6 in particular is very important for serotonin production and melatonin production. And we all know that if we don't sleep well, we're really not so fun to be around. Or we have to, I shouldn't say that. We have to expend extra energy to be patient, so to speak. It's just not fun. It really decreases your quality of life. So with that, they were saying that we really should be looking at these markers of disease as markers of emotional and mental health, because these very same markers, these inflammatory markers, can actually very much impact emotional and mental wellness. The more inflamed you are, you're not going to be able to process things properly. Cortisol in particular, when that's elevated, you're not able to process things properly, because cortisol, I don't want to say, well, it kind of eats away at your muscle, but think of what else it's eating away at. So you want to support the brain. Oh, that's another thing that cortisol does too, when it's elevated for a long period of time, is that it starts to impact your brain cells. And that's a big, big thing right now. So think about it. If those inflammatory markers are up, then obviously there's a link if there is a mental health issue or emotional distress. So this in particular, this reset, okay, I'll be right back, everybody, because I just went from 100% on my computer to literally 11%. I can continue to keep talking, but all right, we're talking about emotional wellness, and we're talking about this program. Okay, so yes, I get it. I probably need to take this to someplace to get fixed. Okay, so emotional health. So how does that play into a cell ignite in particular? Well, what I was talking about alkalizing foods, but the foods that you are taking in and the foods that you're trying to take out, A, they're going to affect inflammation. B, you're getting the nutrients that you need to support your mood, to support the enzymes that are going to help to get rid of the inflammation. You're going to help, in particular, your liver to clear things out, and you're going to be feeling a heck of a lot better. Your mood is going to be feeling a lot better. And especially now, if this is a time where you're focusing more inward and you're releasing certain things, then yeah, you need a little mood booster. So that's what these wonderful foods are going to do. But it's not just foods. It's also emphasis on nutrients. It's also emphasis on one of the things that this is new, this is kind of evolved, is it's a foundation. This is a foundation for building healthy, sustainable habits. And so what we also do is start moving you in the direction of one of the goals that maybe you kind of threw off, especially if you're overwhelmed or you're busy. We take some time to focus on those particular goals. We also take some time to write things down and to throw out the things that we don't need, so we can focus on the things that are keeping us going forward. It's really putting you in a state, physically you're nourishing yourself, mentally you're nourishing yourself, and emotionally you're nourishing yourself. And by putting all of these things together, I've seen absolutely amazing results from my clients. I've seen amazing results from this program. So how does this work? There's some basic guidelines that you can follow, that you're going to get a video, and it's going to explain everything for the educational documents that you're going to get. So what that's going to do is, okay, backtrack. So you have a guide, and there are some things that are kind of basic that you want to start changing in your nutrition plan, changing overall. And this is something that we're doing as a group. Now, you can go even deeper into this, where this used to be called something else. And I do have educational documents on that. It's going to teach you also about different nutrients and what they do and why it helps the body to just clear compounds out and to help you to feel better emotionally, physically, and mentally. But your job is to meet yourself where you're at and integrate these little things based on this main foundation of these guidelines, and then you can build upon that. It's meeting you where you're at. That's a precursor to exactly what I do with my clients. And that's something that is really great to carry into the fall, especially now. I'm personally going to be probably in recovery mode. If I do a half marathon, it's probably going to be very leisurely and fun. I'm going to take in the scenery. So I'm not expecting to push the candle. I shouldn't say push the candle at both ends. Push myself really any further. I'm kind of more in recovery mode right now. So that's also probably a big indicator that I need this in my life as well. All right. So I think that I talked to you. I think we covered pretty much everything. So basically what happened to me on Monday. Actually, I think that this is important. So why exactly did the new season affect me as much as it did? Probably because my mitochondria need a little bit of help right now. And I had those stressors from each side, and it was just kind of that extra straw. I shouldn't say it wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, but it definitely put a little extra weight on there, making me feel fatigued. So if you're feeling that way, then it's time for a reset, clearing things out. Let's support your mitochondria, get the inflammation down, start with longevity, have healthy cells, healthy DNA, RNA, and healthy protein. So dang, you could just start living life again. And really also, when you're turning inward, then you're really starting to get to know yourself as well. And nutrition is just a reflection of your personality. I truly believe that. And you're going to be carrying that into your new season. And it's going to be fun to do that. You'll be able to, I'm thinking about going apple picking in your own unique way, or making things in your own unique way, and just being able to enjoy life again. That is my whole spiel. That is my whole goal of this. All right, so it is for 21 days. It starts on Monday, October 6th. It's only $60. That's it. Just $60. It's going to be for obviously 21 days. We're going to be communicating over WhatsApp, sharing recipes, if there's any questions, kind of keeping each other accountable, seeing how we're doing with movement, all those different things, and some of the homework things that I have too, and what guidelines you decided to go by. Yeah, so that's the program. But yeah, I think I was trying to backtrack and go over what I was talking about. Okay, so the mitochondria, inflammatory markers, and then supporting the mitochondria, inflammatory markers that could also contribute to emotional stress, and how just feeding your body the right things mentally and physically can really help with each of those areas. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free to DM me. If you know that you've already started feeling the effects of this new season that's coming, and you really want to go in with a good mood, a good to be physically healthy, then this is just a great way to start. Fantastic way to start. But if you want to go in a little bit deeper and you have some deeper questions, maybe you really have a lot of joint pain, as I said before, you have too much brain fog, if you're a woman, you think that your hormones are off, then let's just have a one-on-one free strategy session and just kind of go over your goals, and I'll give you some specific tips on how we can start moving you in the right direction of longevity and vitality. All right. So with that in mind, I think that I have covered everything. Thank you so much for coming today, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. Again, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am the Vitality Specialist. So integrating integrative health, functional medicine, functional nutrition, personal training, and life coaching to help you to understand your body on a more cellular and biological level, to really help you to feel like you're more in control of your health, and really to make you thrive and get that longevity and vitality back, which might have been robbed from you. All right, everybody. Well, have a wonderful Friday. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.